Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Serving with Purpose. I'm Danny.
And I'm Carolina. And you guys, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And then you go ahead and introduce our guest today.
So, today is a very special guest. There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of accusations, a lot of buzz about the Diddy trial. Today, we have Diddy's 10th accuser, Miss Adria Cherie English. Thank you so much for joining us
You
today.
guys, thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you so much.
Of course.
It's a pleasure. It was a bit of a journey and a drama to get here, but God got me through, and I'm so blessed to be able to speak to you guys today. So thank you so much, Danny,
Thank you
for
so
the invite.
much.
Thank you so much.
Of
Appreciate you.
course, of course. I'll just get right into it because so many guests have been, people have been asking. There's been so much talk about it. These accusations have been happening for years
Years.
and years. Tell us about your experience and how you first were introduced to Diddy.
Okay, well, thank you for giving me the time. At the time, it was the year 2004. I'm from Cali. I'm a West Coast girl. I had never been on the East Coast in my entire life. I was dating a gentleman by the name of Anthony Gallo. He was just like, just a regular dude around the hood, you know what I mean? But he was very good looking. His mother's black. His father's Italian. So in just going to the movies with his friends, he got approached by a model scout from New York. And at first, Anthony didn't take it seriously because it was like an older white guy. I think he might have been,
A little.
And so he was like, but his friends around him were like, man, you should call the number. So he called the number and it ended up being legit. So it ended up being Wilhelmina initially. Yes.
Very
and so,
reputable.
yes. So they told him in order for him to really take advantage of the opportunities, he needed to be in New York. So we had only been dating about 6 months and casually at that, not even like serious. But he asked me to go to New York. And it was at the same time that my parents had found out about my ex-porn career through a member of the church. And so I couldn't.
Oh,
Yes, a member of the church.
they outed you.
They had come across
funny
the
is
video.
that?
They took it to the minister
Did
of
they
my
come
church.
across that video?
Right, that of 9 years old, the same church, and they brought it to the minister, who brought it to my parents. And when I came home, my parents had it on the big screen TV
No.
with it in my mouth.
No. Oh my God.
And my dad's LAPD sergeant. My mom's a hospital director. I'm the oldest of 4. They got together at 13 years old, got married at 17, had me at 19. I'm their love child, their firstborn. I have 2 brothers and a sister. And they seeing me with it in my mouth.
What made you decide
My
to go
a boyfriend before Anthony, his name is Jake Steed.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
don't ask.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I
don't
mean,
ask, don't
no,
tell. Don't
no.
ask and I won't tell. But I'm here to tell.
Seen
So.
some of his work. That was
Yes,
all.
and I was attending Long Beach State. I met, and the girls in my dorms were stripping to get through college, and I had also got accepted to USC, but my parents didn't put aside money for me, and so even though they were established and had nice careers, they didn't have extra money to send me.
Yeah,
So I took
USC is
loans.
no joke.
I took loans to go to Long Beach State, and they put me in the co-ed dorm. To the left were the guys, to the right were the girls, and the girls were stripping to get through college. So naturally, I started hanging with them, and then we started, frequenting their job, and that's where I came across Jake Steed, and he, started dating me. Came on very, smooth, very charming. He's a good-looking guy. I'm attracted to light-skinned, like mixed kind of like looking guys, and so the look, and then so he just kind of dated me, and then it turned into I have a way we can make money forever, and based off what we already doing. I'm like, he was like, we make good love. We have good sex. All we got to do is record it, and it'll be sold overseas, and no one will ever know. And we'll have money forever because we're going to get residuals. And then at that time, they weren't offering girls residuals. So he explained to me what residuals were because I didn't even know what that meant. He's like, just like you watch TV show, every time there's a rerun, you get paid over and over again. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm with that. And so I agreed. I did the movie when I was 19, and then it didn't come out until I was 24. That's when it got discovered. And then so I couldn't bear the shame of looking my parents in the eye. And at the same time, Anthony asked me to go. So I was working at the hospital, Hoag Memorial in Newport Beach, as a telemetry technician. I can read heart monitors, transcribe, doctor orders, input doctor orders, watch, heart rhythms. It was my job to let the nurses know if their patient was going into a deadly arrhythmia or not. And so I had a pretty important job. And, Kobe Bryant and Vanessa would come in all the time. Yeah, I know. Shout out to Vanessa, rest in peace, Kobe. And Gigi, thinking about y'all always, but y'all did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Shout out to y'all.
Representing.
Shout out. But yeah, and so when he gave me the opportunity to go with him, I just cashed in my 401k, quit my job, packed 2 suitcases. My family told me not to go. They said, you're crazy, and that's how I ended up in New York with Anthony Gallo through his modeling opportunity. So just to fast forward, the reason I ended up meeting Diddy is because Anthony had an audition for the Sean John campaign, and it was at the Bad Boy Studios or somewhere in 57th Street or something like that in Manhattan. And Anthony hardly ever asked me to attend his go-sees or his auditions, but this particular one, because he knew it was Sean John. We from the West Coast, so we were like low-key fans, you know what I mean? So he knew if he went without me, I'd have been mad.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, hey, you just come in. And I came all the way to New York. He's like, you want to do me type stuff. But,
Exactly.
he didn't even have to go that way because he asked me and I was excited. And so we went and we were waiting in the lobby. And one of his friends that used to hang out at our apartment, because since we were from L.A., like, we were the cool people, good looking. I was 20 years younger, you know what I mean? He was 20 years younger. We were from LA, we brought that West Coast vibe, I rap, I sing, he models, he acts, we do it all. So they would hang out at our apartment, including Cassie. Because later on, Anthony ended up getting signed to Ford Models. And that's the same agency that Cassie was signed to. And so Cassie would end up hanging out at our apartment too. So anyway, one of his model buddies that usually would be at our apartment, came storming out like of the audition room, like angry, upset. And so we just looked at each other and we were low key clowning him because we thought like they must have told him no or everything.
They told him no.
Right. And I was like, you got this, you got this, don't
Right.
you know what I mean? And so it was his turn, so they called him Anthony Gallo. And so I got on my 2-way. Like at that point, I just started doing my own thing. It's when you had the little 2-way pagers and stuff. So I'm on my 2-way, and then all of a sudden I just hear the door fly open, and he was like, fuck that. And I'm like, what? I don't know. Can I cuss on there?
Yeah.
Oh, I can cuss.
Go right
Okay.
ahead. Go
I don't
ahead.
want to disrespect y'all, demonetize anything.
Yeah.
Don't want to mess it up.
Bleep it.
But yeah, and so I'm like, what? And he was like, I'll talk to you in the elevator. And Anthony had this like part of him, like, he was real charming and real good looking, but he had this anger in him, like this, like he ain't no punk, you know what I mean? Like he ain't no pretty
tried
boy.
it. Yeah.
Right, like he tried, he had that look, like he tried it. And so when we got in the elevator, there were like a couple other people in the elevator. So I'm like, what? And he was like, shh. So I knew to be quiet. So I didn't say nothing.
Like, we'll talk later.
Right. And so when we got down in the elevator and everybody left, we got out the elevator, then that's when he was like, man, he tried to ask me to suck his dick. And I'm like, who?
Right away.
Yeah, he just turned
Just
to me.
right
And
off the
he
gate.
just turned to me and said, he tried to ask me to suck his dick. And I said, who asked you to suck his dick? And he said, Puffy. 'Cause back then he was, Puffy back then. And I'm like, he did? Like, I'm like, I wasn't disbelief. Like, he did, but I knew Anthony wouldn't play about nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm
Or
like,
be that upset. Or-
yeah, exactly. I'm like, he did? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, he was like, fuck that. He was like, you know me, I ain't going that way. I don't give a fuck what it is. He was cussing all the way. He even cussed out the taxi driver on the way home. He was cussing. He was mad. So when we got back to the house, his boy that was at the same audition ended up calling him and coming through. And now a bunch of his model friends ended up come through because they would come through, smoke weed. That's when it was illegal. So we always had the weed. Shout out to Fabulous. My weed man. Shout out
F-A-B-O.
L-O-U-S. Shout out to Fab. He did come through with the fire back
Hey.
then. And and so they would hang out at our apartment and play video games and smoke and just chill, wait for phone calls, wait for their casting, to go to the gym. And they would always use our place as like a hub. And so that's initially, and so Anthony, by him, storming out and saying no, he didn't want to do it. I guess they still wanted to use him, but instead of them just being real and saying, hey, we still want to use you, they made it about, well, we'll use you if you can get your girlfriend to dance at the white parties.
Wow.
And so I was approached by Tamiko Thomas, who initially coordinated everything because I was also a exotic dancer at Larry Flint's Hustler Club in Manhattan on 51st and the West Side Highway. And we got paid paychecks. And that's how I'm able to track all the people who spent money on me because they would pay with their credit card and I would get funny money, Monopoly-looking money. And at the end of the night, we would trade it in and then the club would tax us 10, 20%. And then they had literally a check cashing place right across the street that stayed open.
Wow.
So we would get our checks and go right across the street, but it had our entertainer name on it and our government name and whoever was paying with their credit card. So I just have all those receipts. Yes.
So tell me what it was like when you went to your first, what do they call it? Well, freak offs, of course, but it was a white party. Like that, you
Yes.
knew it as a white party.
Right.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
going in thinking like, hey, we're
Right,
just
because-
about to have fun.
Right,
It's gonna be lit.
I'm getting paid
I
to
love
be
everyone
around
in Bad Boy.
everybody.
Hello.
Mary J.
Everyone's
Blige,
hanging
Busta
out.
Rhymes,
Yes,
Mace,
Craig
112,
Mack.
Craig
All
Mack,
that.
man, Biggie, Total, Lil Kim,
Yes. Mariah, she was even
Carey,
around.
she was around.
I'm
Definitely, she
sure.
was there. She was
Yes.
dating Omar Stoudemire.
Oh, Amari Stoudemire?
Yeah, she was
Okay.
dating him. We
Oh,
all smoked
okay.
weed in the club before.
Oh, that is too funny. Shout
Yeah.
out to MC.
Shout
I
out to
love
MC. I love
Mariah.
Mariah. Hopefully, I get to work with you one day. I rap and I sing.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
what was that like? You get there, you're like, okay. we
Yeah,
going
so
there,
you know,
you're
I'm like, I'm gonna
chilling.
get paid $500. I get to be with everybody. You know,
Mhm.
Anthony was at the house. I get to, you know, like just walk around and be me. And so they sent a car service for me to our apartment in Manhattan, which drove us to when the car service arrived. Tamika was in. It was just me and her, and it drove us to the Hamptons, which was a 4-hour drive. I didn't know it was gonna be that far, and you know, it was in Long Island, and it was like, you know, up the Sunrise Beltway or somewhere I went, and then all of a sudden it was a bunch of, you know, there's trees, and but then you just saw big ass mansions, like you know, like I was just like, dang, I never seen nothing like that before. So it was totally different from the city, which
Of
is
course.
all concrete and people walking around. It was more secluded, more
Right.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, and then we rolled up. Diddy was standing outside. He was just like
Stop
waiting,
waiting.
girl,
He was the
waiting. He was
great
excited
party.
because you got to
He was the
remember,
welcoming committee.
I'm the ex-porn star. Now
Wow.
at this point, I'm not knowing he knows
So
about
I
it.
was gonna ask if he knew that.
He knew.
but-
He
okay.
knew, but I didn't know he knew
That he
at this
knew.
time.
Okay.
So he's like the ex-porn star, and then I was one of the hottest dancers in Manhattan because Manhattan is only 13 miles by 11 miles wide. And so when you get a name going in Manhattan, it's not like LA where it's all spread out. Like it's just literally right here.
Right.
And so my name was Sasha. The club gave me that name, Sasha. And I have Diddy announcing me at his white party since 2004 as Sasha. Jay-Z wanted me so bad that he made Beyonce turn into me. He had her in 2008 going in 2009, change her exotic name of Beyonce into a Russian common name, Sasha.
Oh, Sasha
And
Fierce.
put the fierce on it. All of a sudden, she had a stripper persona. And Beyonce was already famous from Destiny Child. She's never had to strip. So all of a sudden, when your name becomes Sasha, why do you have a stripper persona?
Wow.
That's me.
Oh. So how was it meeting Jay-Z?
Oh, man, he was jocking. Jocking. I can tell you a quick...
The 90s. That was the 90s slang.
Jocking. And I'll tell you a story. And Jay-Z and Anthony could cooperate. Later down the line, Anthony ended up booking the Rockaware campaign. So Jay-Z used to have intimate little gatherings in lounges, not no big old club, but like small like this, like
Right.
no more than this. It'd be a waitress,
Intimate setting.
intimate setting, and just the models who booked it, the photographer, the creative director, Jay-Z. So it was one of those little cocktail parties Anthony brought me, because you're allowed to bring, you know, whoever you're dating. Everybody knew we were an item, we were hot, you know what I mean, a hot couple in from Cali. And so we're at the bar, and we had walked in. The bar's right here. We're at this side of the bar. We can clearly see Jay. It's not far. Jay-Z's on that side of the bar. Anthony was like, oh, shit, I got to pee. We had just drank at the house before we came, like had a couple of drinks. So I was like, for sure. He's like, hey, when I come back from the bathroom, if I catch you down there talking to Jay-Z, you know, we going to have problems when we get home. And I was like, I ain't going to disrespect you like that. Like, even though I was a Jay-Z fan, I wasn't going to play
course. Who
myself like that.
wasn't?
I got to go
Okay.
home. And Anthony Gallo was not no punk.
Yeah, he wasn't
never hit
going
me or
for
nothing,
that.
but yeah, he wasn't going to go for no disrespect.
No, yeah.
So I was like, whatever. And so, long story short, when he came back from the bathroom, I hadn't moved 1 inch, but guess who was right next to me?
Oh, wow.
Jay-Z.
Wow.
All in my ear.
Sean Carter.
And that was his boss who had hired him, so I couldn't ignore him. So when he came back from the bathroom, I had not moved an inch, but Jay-Z had moved to me
Ooh, wow.
in real time.
How he reacted.
And he looked at me and I said, I didn't move. And he just kind of, he's smart. He laughed because
He
he knew I
understood,
did.
huh?
He said, you did not move. We from Cali. Like, he came to you.
Yeah.
He saw it. You know what I mean? He had to respect it. Yeah.
So how did that go? How did that exchange
But we just
go?
all, you know, talked. And that's when I
Okay.
told him my friend, I said, my name is Adria, but I go by my middle name, Cherie. My friends call me Riri. And what does he do? He gives
Oh.
Rob and Fenty
Oh,
Riri and gives
Interesting.
Beyonce Sasha. And my name before I got married and before it was English, my maiden name from birth is Marcy. And Jay-Z grew
It's
up in
from
the
Marcy
Marcy Project.
Projects. Got
But
it.
Hov, let's do that project. You know what I'm saying? Man,
How do you
running
feel
from it.
like that? Do you feel like the accusations with Jaguar Wright? Is there any validity to what she says in regards to the Carters? I don't know if you guys know, but she has been allegedly, because I have to say that word a lot,
Yes.
allegedly, accusing Jay-Z of being a sexual deviant. And she, Pierce Morgan, received the cease and desist from the
funny.
Carter's lawyers.
It's funny because Pierce Morgan reached out to me and he tried to get me to talk about him, and I didn't do it. So, shout out Pierce Morgan. You didn't catch me out. Yeah.
We got her. Serving purpose got her.
Right.
That's crazy. Okay, so did you see anything untoward, or was there anything that made you look or do, or because she was a dominatrix as well, so she was in the game heavy and she knows everybody's secrets, as I'm sure you do.
Yes, and it's so funny. Shout out to Jaguar Wright. I love
Shout out to
meet
Jaguar
her
Wright.
and have a
I am-
conversation. I'm
me
sure
as
we've been
well.
in the same room back in New York at them parties, but I'm not sure if we've ever spoken. If we have, I was drugged most of the time.
Course,
But I recently saw on Facebook today an old video clip of them performing I Can't See It Coming Down My Eyes, so I gotta make the song cry, and Jaguar Wright is on stage singing it for Jay-Z.
Yeah, the
and
MTV
and a
Unplugged.
real quick story about that is that the actual true person that sings that is a man. I met him in Las Vegas, and he was like 80-something years old, and he brought out the old original vinyl, and he played it for me, and his wife was white, and he was like, before I die, he said he has a lawsuit going on with Jay-Z to give him his credit. He said they put it out, and they never gave him no credit. The original version, that's a man singing that high note.
Wow.
And he died. He never, he said Jay-Z and them had too much money. They never gave him his credit. They never paid him nothing for that. But if you
I've
guys
been
go back to
hearing
the
that.
original version, it's a man, and I met him. I have his contact. His wife is still alive. Anybody want to reach out?
Yeah.
But Jaguar Wright on this particular video was singing it or whatever. So I know she was there. And what I know is that Jay-Z did date people who were minors at the time, like Foxy Brown. If you listen to her lyrics, everything, ain't no, the ill nana and all that, she was only like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Aaliyah, she was all at the white parties. Dame Dash, Jay-Z both fighting on her. She was, underage.
Yeah.
I heard that he had an ex-girlfriend. Her name was Blue. And then she's not alive.
Oh, yeah, she was found unalive.
Right. But then he made
Allegedly.
Beyonce name her
No,
first
she was
child
found
Blue
Yeah.
out of all the names.
Wow.
Out of all the names. Not B.
Right.
Not, Solange after my sister. Not, TT after Tina.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah. That's a coincidence.
Blue Contrail. Shout out to Blue Contrail. She's still alive.
Shout out to Blue
He was
Cantrell.
dating Blue Contrail.
Oh, that was.
It's Blue Contrail.
And I was scheming.
Scheming.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that one. We did. Sorry, Blue Cantrell.
Yeah,
We
it was
tried.
Yeah, we tried. Shout out to Blue Contrail. But yeah, no, he was dating Blue. But he had
Wow, he
another
surely
woman that
was,
was
and they were
pregnant that was about to come out with her pregnancy around
Was
the
she
same
from
time.
the islands?
Something like that. And that's where he met Rihanna. Robin Fenty is in Barbados. So I know he spends a lot of time out there. And what I do know, and I don't even have to say allegedly, is that he has a trap house in Dallas, Texas, that him and Diddy are funding, and they have minors, male and female, working in there. And I'll say it into the camera, and it's not allegedly. Y'all need to go see about Dallas. And they got Yellow Beezy running it. That's on me, baby.
Oh,
They got minor women and boys. Or I would say women, teenage girls and boys, and they're having sex with the girls.
How not saying how you know, how do you know to reveal your sources, but how did you come
my
to this
my Jane
information?
Doe.
And how did you get out?
Okay, well, initially I was just go-go dancing. It was just, above board. I got paid my $500. I, went home. I had good stories to tell, all these memories.
So you're just dancing at the parties.
Just
There's no
dancing,
nothing
it was
going
no
on, nothing
nothing.
crazy.
Or if it
you
did
just
happen, I don't
drinking.
remember. Okay,
Okay.
I'll say that. Because if something happened on the first party, I don't remember. I don't remember to the second party.
Right.
Yeah,
Understood.
because every time I drank, it was drugged. Because we were instructed to drink from certain liquor bottles that these are the girl champagne and this the guy drinks. Like guys don't touch the girls, girls. Like it was literally separated.
Really?
Yes,
Like according to
and we
gender.
got in trouble. Like if you got caught on the guy's side, you would get in trouble. Like no, that's for you over there. You know what I mean?
Interesting. And did you see anyone recording? Was there any?
It was everybody. Like he had gave us cameras. I forgot to mention when we first got there, he put a camera in all of our hands and had us go, and then he would collect it as our camera as the film ran out and refill it and give us another one. So that was part of our job as well.
It's just to capture memories, or
Yeah,
just
just
to
take picture.
capture?
Paris Hilton one time, she was so cute. She had me take her picture like 3 or 4 times. She was like, no, okay, I like it. And she's like, oh, I like that one's cute. She's like, that's cute.
It's hot.
That's hot. Shout out to Paris. I love her. Yeah, it's hot. Yeah.
So when you're getting there, so Anthony introduces you. You get to a bad boy. So no, you get to Tamiko.
Yes, because I was also go-go dancing in the regular club circuit. So I was exotic dancing at Larry Flint's Hustler Club, but I was also booking regular club gigs. You know, when they put you in a swing or they have, you've been to clubs.
You're
or,
right.
And in New
And then
York,
just- yeah.
it's really like, there's like Cali is slow. Like we just barely, not, a few years ago getting up on it, but New York been doing that. So I was also go-go dancing. So I met Tamiko in the go-go. They all were connected because they're all from New York. So
Okay.
I don't know who talked to who to say, talk to her because she's his girl and everything. I don't know how it got orchestrated, but it did. And every time I got paid, the money got put in Tamiko's hand, and then she would pay me.
And then
I would always see Diddy hand it to her. I would always wonder why he just wouldn't hand me my own money myself, but he never did.
So not to label Tamiko, but it sounds like she was kind of like, I don't know, maybe an assistant. I don't want to say a madam.
Yeah, like a handler.
Allegedly. A handler.
Allegedly,
Yeah.
allegedly.
So she just, okay,
Allegedly.
so you would show up, you would do the parties, you would walk in,
Yes.
they would give you a drink. Did you
Right.
automatically
No, he would
feel-
take us into the room where we were changing, and he would always provide the outfits. And he always
Wow.
would want us to feel the material, like all of our hands touching at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And and the one particular time when they first started having me, do extras with the guests, he actually had me wear a black dress.
Wow.
And Tamiko he put her on a pink dress, a light pink dress.
What
I think
did
they
that
have that
signify? Do you know? Or
Yeah, that was
any of the colors?
Everyone else had on white, but I'm the girl in the black dress. So
you were the sex
and then go
worker.
Were
pay
you
her.
paying to do extras?
They were paying Tamiko.
All right.
Oh,
Or
did she
paying
ever
Diddy.
pay you?
They never gave me my extra. Oh, Jacob the jeweler gave me $1,000 extra.
Wow.
Yeah, and that picture in my lawsuit of me and Jacob, if you look at that drink he's holding, that's my drink, and that's Diddy taking the picture. And that was after he congratulated me. So he would let's take it. He took a picture on his camera too, but I took a picture. I had brought a camera, my own little disposable, and I got my own picture. So he took it on both of our cameras.
Oh my God.
And that drink he's holding is the drugged drink. And if you look at my face, I look faded.
What is the youngest person you've seen there?
Okay, then I'm glad you asked because the Jane Doe I'm speaking of, who gave me that information about the trap house, is located in Texas as well. And at the time, she was only 11 years old when she was kidnapped and drugged with jelly beans and flown on a private jet to New York. And that picture with the girl on Diddy's lap with the D&G sweater, that's her. She's 11 years old in that picture. They put those clothes on her. They did her makeup, and they put her on his lap and took that picture. She's 11 years old. He ended up keeping her till she's 14. She's had 2 kids by him.
No.
She,
And this is
she believes that
Diddy.
his oldest daughter, Chance, is her daughter. She said she had a threesome with Diddy and Nelly. Sorry, Ashanti.
Ooh.
And she believes the baby is either Nelly's or Diddy's.
Allegedly, right.
Allegedly.
Mhm.
Totally allegedly.
Mhm.
But she wants a DNA test done, and that's going to be coming out. She's also was the same girl that at the parties Diddy had on the table nude while they had food and fruit on her, and we all ate off of her. She's 14 in that picture, but we all thought she was a grown woman. I even slurped a strawberry off of her breast.
Wow.
On some freaky, getting a
Right.
party,
Of course.
about it. And she had
Not
a body like a
realizing.
grown woman. She did. You wouldn't have known
Mm-hmm.
that she was 14 at the time.
Jesus Christ.
What do you think is going to happen to him?
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen to him. This is what's gonna happen to him. That same girl had to use the restroom and was on stage, and he wouldn't let her do it. She ended up doing a number 2, and it was a wet one, and it splashed everywhere. And Denzel, that's what Denzel Washington is talking about right now. The incident that happened where he had to grab his wife and run out of there. And he said to Diddy, like, you don't have respect for nobody. And then Diddy took her off that stage and put her in this black room and they beat her
Wow.
and sodomized her allegedly
No.
because he wouldn't let her use the bathroom. And then they never let her use soap and they would always give her water baths
No. And this is out of her mouth?
out of her mouth.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
she's about to file. She's Jane Doe right now.
Oh,
But she's the
Jesus.
same girl that was flown at 11 years old in the private jet.
Oh.
The same girl in the Dolce & Gabbana sweater on his lap. The same girl laying on the table with all the fruit. And the same girl in the pool with nothing on, all underage. And none of us knew. Or the ones that were there that did know. I didn't know. I wouldn't knowingly do some stuff like that.
Of course not.
You know, so
How
I feel
has
bad.
this
And then
affected?
actually, me and her are real cool because she'll even tell you that she asked for me back in 2012 because she said I was the only one at the parties trying to help her and get her out of there. And so she had me in her paperwork and they put both of us in a mental hospital. And we both had to lie and say that we made it up, that it was a fantasy of ours for them to let us out.
Oh my God.
And Diddy's lawyer, Mark, actually is the one that helped get us out and used to help shoot her up, allegedly, with things that would make her pass out, unconscious.
Have you ever experienced that? Because you said that, would it be in a shooting up form or would it
Oh,
just
no,
be
it would be, I always
a
experience
drink or
it in
something?
a drink or eating something because he would soak the fruit in it. And those bottles of baby oil they recently found, those aren't baby oil. It's like liquid ketamine. It's like horse tranquilizer, ecstasy,
And it's a
Molly.
topical that just
It's a
could be rubbed
topical
on?
rub on you. He has it
Wow.
both ways. He has the kind that you can rub on and or consume.
Wow.
Sorry, you guys, put that on silent. Yeah, but it's terrible because most of the people there are willing participants. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they want to immobilize you and make you unaware and or unconscious, I believe is because they're doing rituals, satanic, devilish rituals, and they
You
don't want
always
you.
hear about that.
You don't wanna
What
hear-
do you what would that entail? Is that
They-
some of the things that happen in the tunnels?
Yeah, because we have chakras in our back there, and our chakras it goes to our channels our energy, and it's kind of like taking your soul in a sense by him taking that back there from you. He would leave you bloody, and he doesn't care about boo boo or nothing. That's not alleged. The the
That's a
recent
fact.
that 10-year-old that just came out. He knew that he was going to be giving that boy back to his parents in a couple hours. But he wanted to break his spirit. It's about breaking his spirit. You think that little boy ever sang the way he sang before he got to that audition ever again? They said he had to be homeschooled after that. His parents even knew something happened, but they were definitely afraid to report it. My son is 9.
Right.
You mean to tell me if I was to drop my son off and I pick him up and he bleeding down there and all busted down and stuff, I'm ready to serve my 30. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I'm ready to serve my 30.
Right.
You know what I mean? With my bare hands, it's
Yes.
gonna go down. I'm not gonna get nobody to do it.
You would never let your son there.
I would have never
First
even
of
let
all,
my son.
right?
See, thank
Right.
you. Thank
First
you.
of
That's the
all.
first of all. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
She said it
'Cause
right.
you knew.
Because I would have
Yeah.
never, even without being in the entertainment industry, I would have just never. My son is 10, and the first time you meet him, you want to be alone. Like that doesn't even make any. He can't answer no questions.
Right.
He
What
can't.
does he know?
What does he know?
Right.
What are you talking to him about? You know what I mean? He can't sign off on no paperwork. He not even in the teens. He 10. So I mean,
And
a
it's
parent-
your job to protect your
It
son.
is your job
You're
as a
not gonna
parent.
let your son with
Correct.
anybody.
Correct. That's your job that God gave you. Your God given job and instinct is to protect. So, I don't even know how. And then even my Jane Doe, the reason why he was able to keep her for so long because her grandmother was getting money for watching her because her mom was on drugs and her dad was out doing his thing. And so the grandmother had her and a bunch of other kids, when the grandma,
Yeah,
and
it's the
gets a
mom
check
of
and
everyone's-
gets the
yeah,
check, for everyone. And she didn't want to mess up the checks for everybody else by
Reporting her or
So she never reported her.
no.
For all those years.
And did she know where her grandbaby was?
Nope.
Or she
She knew because she had got away from him.
Okay.
But when she came back, she didn't have any proof, and she tried to tell him what happened, and nobody believed her. So she literally hitchhiked back and met some people that ended up being in business with Diddy and brought her back to him.
No.
It's a whole movie.
Oh no.
That's when she ended up getting pregnant with the second baby
Oh,
at
oh my
14.
gosh.
Allegedly, until we do a DNA test. Allegedly.
Yes, unfortunately, you run out of time, but I have one last question for you. What are you expecting from this lawsuit?
Thank
we
you.
want to be compensated. Want to him the rest of his life in jail.
Yes. I initially was asking for life imprisonment, but at this point, I'm asking for the death penalty. If all these things are determined and DNA tests were done and the real facts come out, and this man is guilty of all these for the last 30 plus years, from Tupac to Kim Porter to the lady who was shot in the face in the club, to what was done to me, to Little Rod not even be able to eat in the studio, being expected to work 24 hours and look at somebody butt naked in the shower and working while they're in the shower, to all the artists that are broke, to Shine doing 10 years, J-Lo and everybody sticking stuff up my friend's coochie, it's all gonna come out. J-Lo. But what I want to see is allegedly, but what I want to see is justice for all the victims. We all need financial compensation because we all need professional therapy. It's going to take a long time for us to get past it. We're finally being able to talk about it, so we're re-traumatized. And so I want us to all get financial compensation so our kids can live good and live the good life. We want to see those that are terrorizing our community to stop. He's a global threat. There's a lot of people in third world countries that he goes around and he picks their children or their family member and tells them they're going to have a good life, and he pays them off, and they never even make it out of their country. And their family member is allegedly sitting there waiting for their family member to send for them, but they don't even know that little Bobby never even made it out of Venezuela. Little Susie never made it out of Honduras. Little, Chi-Chi never made it out of Africa. Little Whoop Whoop never made it out of Baghdad or whatever, because they don't have a voice. So my point is to be the voice and do God's mission for my life. My calling is to help the sex trafficking victims, all the people that are underneath the tunnels in Hollywood still currently. And I definitely want justice to be done, and I want all the terrorism, especially from his 3 sons, especially Justin, Christian. Y'all need to stop. Quincy, come on now. I know you just trying to play the middle, but you got to take a stance. God don't like ugly. Don't be running up on Ray J.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be running up on Ray J.
Days ago.
Don't be running up on Ray J.
Yeah.
Okay, because Ray J, he might have did some stuff in his past, but he's choosing God now. And God forgives everybody that's done stuff in their past. God wants you to choose right and wrong, good from evil right now. And Ray J choosing up. So don't be running up on Ray J. But yes, I want justice to be served. I want all the facts to come out. And if he does get found guilty in Florida where there is a death penalty, I like to see it and I like to be there and watch.
Thank you for coming today.
Well, with that, I thank you so much.
We hope you find your healing and you at home. Take care of your kids. Nothing worth this trauma, and be careful.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
I love you guys. I love the
hopefully your
platform.
story is going
Shout
to
out to your engineer. He's
Yes.
the
Thank you,
truth.
Tanner.
Shout out to the engineer, Tanner.
We love you, Tanner.
We love Tanner.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you for having me.
God bless.
God bless you.
Thank you for watching, guys.
Thank you. Click like
See
and
you next time.
subscribe.
Bye.
Thanks.